Hi, welcome to The Spiritual View. We're a community interested in creating a supportive space for people wanting to explore, validate, and honor our natural intuitive and healing abilities. My name is Karleen, and I'm an acupuncturist.
I'm Christine.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Bisma.
And we're going to go to Christina for an energy report.
Okay, everyone. So today's a quick energy forecast here. There's a new moon coming up on September 20th, and with new moons come new beginnings. So it's a good time to give blessings and thanks for everything that's happening in your life right now. And it's a good opportunity to make new goals. So the moon aligns with the sun in the house of Virgo, which is a good time to get organized and create lists and really just take everything like step by step, baby steps, and knock everything off your list. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. And then also, the fall equinox is on September 22nd.
Oh, that's my husband's birthday.
Yeah, so it's coming up, and I'm personally excited because Halloween's right around the corner. I'm one of those people. And so the relationship planets are moving towards alignment, which adds emphasis on our relationships right now. So communication is going to be a big deal. So learn to practice communicating on deeper levels to release old thought patterns. It's really important at that time.
Thank you.
Perfect. And our topic today
Is clairaudience. So, who wants to start? Do I just start?
Well, we're continuing
our series.
our series about our clairsentience and our clairaudience. All of our clairs are natural intuitive abilities.
Yeah.
So clairaudience is another psychic sense, and it's basically clear hearing. That's what it translates to. So you can hear a few different things. You can hear your own natural and higher self, your own inner guidance, but you can also hear loved ones, angels, you name it, ascended masters. It goes on and on and on. So it's kind of a wide array of different things that you can tune into. What they call it is that little voice in our head. It comes through as our own voice majority of the time, so it might sound like you're having conversations with yourself all the time, but it's very natural.
And I know you get voices coming in from other people.
Yeah, sometimes. It's funny, it happens a lot when I'm not specifically doing readings and channeling loved ones. I'll be having random conversations and somebody will chime in. I was having a conversation with my mom one time about my grandmother who passed away, and she was saying something about her house and how she didn't really keep it as straight and take care of her things, and my grandmother popped into my head with her Texas accent and said, "I do not. I kept my stuff really nice," and was totally in the conversation. And so that kind of stuff happens a lot for me. It's pretty interesting.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, so I thought that clairaudience was something that I never did, and I thought that was really an advanced psychic ability for a lot of people. But then I realized just earlier this year that I've been doing it my whole life. Part of it was understanding that the wise part of myself that always has like the right thing to say in my head, which I wish I could always get it out, but I don't. That's always counseling me or telling me like what I should or shouldn't do. The cheerleader in my head, I realized, is just a wiser part of myself, which some people will call your higher self. A lot of people have a lot of different names for it. But then I worked on developing it even further, specifically my experiences with mediumship, and I used theta healing to clear out my beliefs about it, and we tested it immediately, and I heard my Uncle Mike come through with his distinct voice, and he has a very low voice, and it was a voice I haven't heard for a really long time, and I knew it was him, and I saw him clairvoyantly, and it was the first time that I have recently that I heard an external voice inside myself. As a kid, I heard voices a lot at night, and I was really afraid of the nighttime because I would hear spirits talking to me at night. So it's something that I used to do. I just thought that I didn't really make the connection until recently that that's what I was doing. So it can be like your own voice inside your head, which is a lot of ways that a lot of guides talk to you, or angels, or it could be an external voice of someone that's very distinctive that you know, or maybe not know. Sometimes it could be for somebody else that you experience it. Yeah.
How about you, Bisma?
Me? Well, I notice this happens to me quite often. I'll just walk by someone and I'll just clearly hear like either their thoughts or something will just clearly come to me, or even just if I'm talking to someone, many times I just get clear messages that just come through, and it's really amazing and shocking, but it's so clear, and it's just astonishing and stuff. But
How do you know it's not yours? That's the hard part, right?
well, I guess why would I say that, or why would that come in my head?
It like almost pushes your thought out of the way.
It pushes my thought. Yeah, it's kind of like why would that come?
Is it kind of like having a radio station?
Yeah. Tune in.
Yeah.
So tuned in.
Yeah, and usually it's when I'm not tuned in either. And usually I'm not doing readings or anything like that. It just
Isn't that
comes
funny
in.
how that happens?
It is.
You're
It's
not
really
specifically trying, but yet you still are hearing.
Yeah.
Christina, I see a bunch of crystals and those things in
Oh
front of
yes,
you.
I love my crystals. Yes, there's. Okay, so I guess we should say that with your clairaudience, that specifically comes from the throat chakra, and the color of that chakra is blue. So the crystals that would really benefit clearing out some of that energy is lapis, blue chalcedony, celestite. There's a lot of stones and crystals that you can
The angelite.
angelite. There's some more down there. The crystals really help. I really enjoy using crystals. It definitely really help.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or just wearing the color blue can help too.
Yeah,
To
just-
enhance that energy.
Yep, thinking blue. Yeah, for sure.
So what about ringing in the ears?
I get ringing all the time, and
Same
it's funny.
here.
It happens when I'm not specifically tuning in. It's like she said earlier,
It's
like
a
a doorbell,
doorbell.
which
Yeah.
is the perfect way. I love that expression because it's literally what it is. It's like we're trying to talk to you. Hello, are you home? Are you listening? So I'll get a lot of ringing in my ears.
Yeah.
A lot.
Same here. I'll just be doing something random, like washing dishes, and all of a sudden, and it's so strong. So strong. And I know there's different tones that come through too, which is
I get pressure
Which is
and
really
ringing.
interesting.
So sometimes it feels like, you know, when you're like going up in a plane and the cabin pressure is getting your ears. I will get that really intensely sometimes, and for me that's a sign that my guides are trying to communicate with me. So if I have time, I have a toddler at home, I will take the time to meditate at that time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just realized I never put that two together, because sometimes I do get these tones, or like it's kind of like your ear, something's going on, but I never
It's happening right
understood
now.
that. Yeah, I never really put that together as it being kind of like somebody trying to come through.
Well, on top of that, I find that I'm very sensitive to sound, and a lot of people who their clairaudience is really strengthened. It's one of their strongest clairs. They can be very sensitive to sound, very sensitive, and it's to the point where it really affects me sometimes if I'm in large groups of people. It becomes very overwhelming for many reasons, but that also just the noise, the constant noise. I sometimes have to take breaks like throughout the day with my kids because they're yelling and screaming and playing, and I'm like, okay, I just need to hear nothing for 5 seconds, you know. And I'm very sensitive. Are you?
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind
sensitive.
is like, remember the old TVs, not the flat screens, but like when you turn them on, they go like,
Oh yeah.
this is like noise, and
Or the internet.
I'd always be like, I can't handle that noise. Can you turn the TV off? And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Like no one else could hear.
Yeah.
It's like I forget the science behind it, like the
It's
tube,
static. Yeah.
the tube in it turns on, and even when the TV is like on standby. Let's say it's on standby because it's like about to use the VCR or something. This is super old. I'm dating myself. But the TV makes this really high pitched noise that would just get to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the same way. When it's really loud, I can't focus. I can't concentrate. I feel like my head's gonna like burst. I need quiet, or I need to go out, at least for like a couple minutes to get my
So
thoughts together.
you have some tips as to how we can kind of clear this chakra?
Yeah.
Before we share that, can I share one more thing?
Yeah.
I want to just explain to everyone that like, my belief is that everyone has clairaudience. It's just a level of awareness of it and being able to differentiate between what's yours and what's not yours, because a lot of times it comes through as your own voice. But one thing that I feel like most of us can agree on is like when we're doing something in our lives and we're, the example I guess that most people can relate to is when you're about to cross the street and a car is about to come and you hear watch out, or you hear a warning, like almost like it's in your head, you know it's in your head, it's no one outside, but it's enough for you to like hear it and stop. A lot of people can relate to having that happen, and that is that inner voice. Also, clairaudience is, some people say that clairaudience is like the last psychic sense to develop, and that it's super high level for psychic senses, but really I feel like it's something everyone has. It's just developing it and learning how to work with it that is
just
harder
exercising that muscle.
to do. Yeah, and another example of what clairaudience can be like is if, imagine that you are singing a song in your head. I mean, a lot of us walk around and we have a song in our head, right? Let's say, Mary had a little lamb. I could sing the whole song in my head. That's what clairaudience is like. It's just like when you're thinking of that. Also, a side note, which we'll have a whole other episode on, is telepathy. Telepathy is also related to clairaudience. It's kind of more of thought form impressing, but it can also come through as clairaudience. Like what Bisma was saying, walking down the street and picking up on other people's thoughts. That's actually telepathy, but she's hearing it through clairaudience. So.
Yeah, and I think another thing is like when you do hear those voices, or when you are having clairaudience, tune into that. If you're having ringing in the ears, sit down for a minute, kind of just feel what that feels like in your body and see what's happening. You can even meditate for a bit, which is really great to kind of really tune in. But notice when you're getting those messages, how you're getting those messages, when in certain particular moments when it comes up. I feel like it's good to like keep note of like
I think it's
when
also
that
important to talk about the use of like alcohol or any drugs, because I've worked with clients before who had a drinking problem or something, and you kind of invite a lot more spirits out
You're
there.
vulnerable.
Yeah, and they just come in. I mean, they might not have the best intentions either, so sometimes you do crazy things when you're under the influence, and they can put little ideas in your head. So that's one thing that you should probably.
I feel like we could do a whole episode on that. You know how people are always like, when I drink, I do things I just normally don't do. Well, there actually is a metaphysical way of explaining that.
Yeah, no, that's a very important tip. Just in general, if you're a highly sensitive, intuitive person, alcohol and drugs are not the best for you to dabble in at all. It just leaves you very vulnerable. So
It's like leaving your house and everything unlocked and windows open and telling everybody, come on
you got
in.
a big neon sign with an arrow pointing in, like, let's party. Yeah, no, good.
So tools.
So tools.
Yeah.
tools.
So we talked about grounding a lot in our last video. That's important with anything that you do. Just grounding every day. That'll help you tune in. That's our favorite word around here. Tune in to this sense and
Also,
focus on it.
We didn't talk about earthing. So earthing is another way to ground, which is just barefoot on the ground outside. That's like instant grounding without having to visualize everything. Just bare feet on the ground, which we really don't get a chance to do a lot, but just doing that alone will ground you.
Yeah, that definitely helps. So doing that helps. And then, but specifically, aside from grounding, bringing in cosmic light specific to the chakra that you're trying to focus on, that you're trying to strengthen. So in this case, the chakra would be your throat chakra right here. So you can envision cosmic light coming in, and it's blue. So you can almost imagine your chakra in the shape of like a lotus, and you can imagine it blooming and opening. And as it opens, it gets more of a brighter and clearer crystal blue. That it's just a beautiful blue, and you can feel the energy increase from that. And it clears out any blockages that you might have going on with that chakra so that you can be in touch with it more. It's really helpful.
How do you dispose of the debris, like the energetic debris that's in the way?
So when you're grounding, you have your grounding cord. That's always, every time you do it, you have your grounding cord. So when you do that and the energy comes through, it just continues down that grounding cord. That any of
Down
those
the base of your
blockages down the
spine,
base
goes
of
down,
your
recycles
spine,
it back
and
to
goes
Earth.
back, goes down your root chakra, which is at the base of your spine, and it goes down into the earth, and Mother Earth recycles and clears all the debris out.
And then there's the Berkeley Psychic Institute way, where they'll use a rose to like magnetize all the debris, and then you explode the rose. That's another technique.
It's all about visualization. I mean, because it's all there. It's just, it's a little hard to.
So imagination and intention kind of basically make
It's so
it real.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important.
That's all it is. It's just intention and imagining it.
Yeah.
Witnessing it is important.
But yeah, so meditation and grounding, clearing out specifically the throat chakra that you're trying to strengthen, that's really important.
Also, though, the throat chakra is related really closely to, well, all your chakras, but with your second chakra, which is your creative expression, because the throat chakra is related to how we express ourselves and how we speak. And so people that sing or people that are speakers have a really active throat chakra, like Tony Robbins or whoever else is out there speaking all the time. Our singers have really active throat chakras, and that's because they're expressing themselves. But our second chakra also is in alignment with our throat chakra. So, and that's part of the creative process, the second chakra. So if you feel like you're still not able to completely tap in as much as you want to, consider working with your second chakra also, which is not necessarily through speaking or through voice, but creating through expression, through art, or through whatever way, gardening, or whatever it is you like to do to create in your world.
Cooking?
Yeah.
Cooking, yes.
Yeah, actually, a lot of times, this just reminded me, I dance, I love to dance, and a lot of times when I'm dancing, I do get ringing in my ears too. That's really cool that you said that,
Yeah.
Another chakra, some that I specifically clear out, we have so many chakras. We have the main chakras, but these ones aren't main ones, but you have your ear chakras as well. So those ones are pink and kind of a fuchsia pink color. And I specifically clear those out too. It helps me with the ringing, all that going on too. That really helps a lot. That's another that you can imagine opening up as well.
Great. Anything else to add?
I think that's it, ladies.
I feel like there's one more thing, like another tool that we were talking about.
We got grounding, we got the cosmic light,
crystals.
crystals.
Like mantras, activating your throat chakra through sound.
Yes.
You can pretty much do it with any sound you want. If you just want to activate that area, either so you can express yourself better. Let's say you're writing a paper, or you're doing psychic work, or you want to be more in tune with the wisdom that's available to you. You can just sing out loud to yourself, even if it's horrible. I mean,
music.
I do that all the time, and I think that really helps clear the energy out of my throat. I sing really loud in the car, so if you see me driving down the street, I have no shame when I'm singing it alone in my car. But just activating that chakra through sound and
music's really important for clairaudience too. People really commute. I personally really commute. I personally really connect with music, and it just kind of like gives me goosebumps. Like if a certain song like specifically touches.
Also, this is where we also resonate with other people is through this chakra.
Yeah.
Okay. There was one more thing.
Well,
Where's your list?
yeah, you gotta have a list.
I know it was there, and then I was listening to Christina. So I just want to briefly talk about this because doing Reiki and doing energy healing, I definitely witness and see a lot of stuck energy and people like wondering why they're having a hard time, you know, writing or whatever it is they're wanting to express themselves through their 5th chakra. And the number one thing that I see that is holding people back in the 5th chakra is speaking their truth, especially for people like us that are really intuitive. It's really hard in this world to express our experiences to other people. So when we hold back and we don't really share the true part of ourselves to the world, it can actually create stuck energy
That's a great point.
and affect, you know, the energy that comes down and coming from your heart. It can actually affect you from coming from your heart in your life because you're not expressing who you are. So crystals, making sounds, wearing blue, those and the grounding and the cleaning with the light, those are all ways to help clear out that energy. But also it's important that you speak your truth, whether it's to your few select safe friends or in our community on Facebook or on YouTube with us, but expressing that in some way, sharing your experiences with the world. Yeah,
Very much.
I have to say that.
Yes, that's right.
Glad you did.
Yeah. Any other last comments?
I don't know. I think that clears everything up for Clairaudience.
Okay.
So next.
So thank you for tuning in. Our previous video was on clairsentience, thank you. And our next video is on clairvoyance. So tune in and we'll be posting that soon. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.